Welcome back. Today we're talking about reevaluating your finances here at that mid-year mark. Definitely a good idea to do, and we've got a mark ourselves. We've got our financial pro, Mark Triplett, joining us to talk about exactly what that process may need to look like. So I guess the first thing is, why is this time of the year really a good time for people to go back and just make sure that maybe you're in tune with where you want to be?
Sure. Well, July is that midpoint of the year. Maybe folks started out at the beginning of the year, a New Year's resolution, a desire to change financial habits for the better, and right now is a good time to check in. I prefer that folks do this along the way, but life gets in the way, so right now is a good midpoint to do that.
Yeah, and so, when you're going through, you're looking at those finances, anytime we're dealing with money, a lot of people are thinking, okay, where do I even start? So what does that look like? Where do you start?
Well, the first place I recommend we always begin is the spending plan. What cash flow is coming out into the household, what's going out of the household. Is your actual spending on track with what you would plan to spend in your budget? And if we're off track, right now is a good time to make those adjustments before we head into the later part of the year where we tend to increase spending because of holiday shopping and things like that.
And that's very good advice, because that's something I hadn't thought about. You hit, especially there after October. Actually, a lot of people are about to start doing this with back to school.
Yes.
So that's really the perfect time to do it. So where do you even start? If you're needing to adjust that remaining budget, what's the very first thing you need to do?
Well, the spending plan is what's going out of the household, but we also have to look at the other equation of the cash flow, what's coming into the household. Have you received a bonus at work or a raise? In that case, maybe you need to adjust your tax-deferred savings in your 401k or other tax-deferred account. Have you had a loss in income or a reduction in income? Maybe you want to do some tax planning mid-year to take advantage of that. So a lot of things to do there. But if we're looking at our overall spending plan, going back to that, what's going out of the household, just go back and look at the last 3 months worth of spending. Look at your credit cards, look at your debit cards. Where's that cash flow going? Are you spending things on things that aren't really bringing your family any value? Can we drop some of those?
That's very good advice. And I feel like that's what I'm always doing. Me and my wife are both always doing. We're going back and looking at where are some places we can cut back on. But I think about, let's say if you're someone who's in retirement, this looks a little bit different for them. What can you do for those retired folks?
So the folks that are retired, which are really the folks that we serve, my business partner and I, we help guide folks to and through retirement. And right now we're doing reviews on what is their cash flow out of those retirement accounts for the year. How are some of the new tax law changes impacting taxes on Social Security or distributions from retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks and other IOUs, the IRS, and doing some tax planning for the end of the year to make a determination, what's their likely tax footprint going to be for the year. Now, obviously, we're not tax advisors. We always encourage them to speak with their tax planner, CPA, or somebody like that to really validate that. But we're always keeping an eye on that cash flow so we can help them make the best decisions about how and when to make distributions from those taxable accounts.
And is there any way, and I know you touched on a little bit of this earlier, but is there any way that as we get closer to the holidays, maybe I need to move some things around or maybe adjust to maybe give myself a little grace, knowing
Yes.
I might have to spend a little bit more?
Yes, absolutely. So I know it's hard to believe we're in July, but like you mentioned, we're going to go right into back to school shopping, and then before you know it, the stores are going to be filled with holiday shopping. Yeah. And I think it's really a good idea. I like to spreadsheet this stuff. Yeah. So I have an Excel spreadsheet. If you can go back multiple years and we can see who we spent money on, how much did we spend, and we set a budget. So all of those folks are important to us that we want to buy gifts for example, or for the holiday meal and that stuff, and then budget that out. And that way, maybe you come across deals now that you want to get for that specials person, and you can get a really good deal now, but you don't break the bank because you don't wait till the last minute and just splurge. When you plan ahead, you tend to control things. When you aren't planned, you tend to just overspend.
Yeah, and you know what? I really like that advice, especially going back and looking at what are previous trends. What do you do every year? Because most likely you're going to do a lot of the same.
Yes.
So if anyone's looking for more information, maybe they're trying to get some information from you, where can they find you?
You can find us online, Triplett-Westendorf.com. That's the best place to go. We've got a lot of great free tools out there for folks to use as well, and a lot of video content. So hopefully there's something that can benefit you out there.
All right, Mark, great job. Thank you, sir, as always.
Thanks for having me.